Well, 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 here we are, the Raw Onion Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Ohannesian, and I am the generational inherited stress specialist and consultant. And with me, as always, my most valuable colleague and friend, and my most honored colleague and friend, Yoshie Barnett. She is the co host here with me, doing everything behind the scenes. So even if you may not hear her beautiful voice, you rest assured she is with us always. And we are here coming to you to talk all things neuroscience and all things burnout, all things perfectionism, and all the crossroads in between and those shocks in life that you never saw coming. So we are the raw onion and we're peeling back the layers of life. So thank you so much for being here with us, everyone. And I'm just going to start out with a really interesting fun fact. We're not always going to start out this nerdy, so to speak, but I think being a first episode, I wanted to invite you into a little bit of a teaser in terms of what you're going to learn with us and open it up to conversations and real community here. So just wanted to talk about corporations, the holiday stress, and a little known fact, and I guarantee every single one of you listening can relate to this to some extent, the use of the word family, right? So here you go. When corporations call employees family, and I'm using quotes there, the brain, and that's every single one of us, often processes that language using the same social bonding circuits it uses for actual kin. So I just want to explain that to you. When your corporate employee, leader, boss says the word family in any kind of relationship to work, your brain is firing off that correlation to your actual family. And that is happening right in the interior cingulate cortex. And that is the part of your brain, the part of your noggin that lights up with social pain and, get this, social connection. So whatever that autopilot ancient operating system in your brain is to call out, oh yes, I'm related to that person, or oh boy, I feel obligated to do it for this person because yeah, they're my family, blah, 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 right? That warm and fuzziness that's attached to that word family. It's actually corporate lingo that's tricking your brain and your threat detection system. So because when you feel obligated, when your brain feels obligated to react to the word family, you're also feeling obligated subconsciously that your amygdala ramps up, that flight or fight part in your brain lights up, ramps up sensitivity to social rejection and guilt, meaning you're more likely to tolerate the overload, to skip your boundaries, and to say yes when your body says no. So, in other words, and this is what we're talking about today, a single word, family, can neurologically prime you for burnout, for even that extra dose of perfectionism where you think, oh my God, I better keep going, because it's making that corporate stress feel like personal survival stress. All right? And so the holidays, they're beautiful, they're fun, they are absolutely joyful, but the holidays also intensify stress because we're juggling essentially two families. The real one, the one you've created, your home life, your chosen family, your lineage, bloodline family, and the one that our companies say that we're a part of, right? So let's talk about it. Companies use of the word family in a very strategic way. They know what they're doing, guys, and our brains fall for it. So today we're breaking down the whys and how it shapes holiday burnout. And what we're talking about too is this psychology of this corporate myth, right? The family myth. And let's talk about something fun that we can all relate to. It's this holiday party, right? We all get invited to them. I am not necessarily in the corporate world anymore, and I mindfully got out. That's a story for another day. But I'm sure all of us have had some experience. We've dipped our toes into this world before. Lots of positives, but a lot of negatives, and those are the things that we're going to talk about too. You know, this idea of a family. Well, okay, you're getting ready for this corporate party, okay? And you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, I've got to go." Right? I've got to go. Well, why? Why do I feel obligated to go? Well, I have to. My boss is expecting me there. All of my colleagues are going to be there. Yeah, okay. Well, is there a little anxiety that's attached to that? Am I the only one? Because I know I got a little nervous when these corporate events started to come up. And let me tell you why. There's a little bit of an interesting fact here. They're using attachment theory on us, guys. This is attachment theory activation. And so, why this framing, right? This framing. When we're using the word family, I'm going to use the word framing because when we say we're a family and we're getting ready for that holiday party, the big holiday family corporate party, what's going on in the brain is that family is not a word, it's a psychological shortcut. So when we're a family, we're activating an incredibly powerful human schema. So when we're talking about the word schema in cognitive psychology, there's a lot of different schemas. There's categories. That's basically what it is. So when you're getting put into a category at work, well, think about it. What's going to be a category at work that's going to keep that motivation going, even if you're burnt to a crisp, even if, oh my God, we got, what is it today, the 9th of December? So we've got a few more weeks to the end of the year. That's crunch time, right? Q4 crunch time, guys. Leadership is going to say we're a family. Let's close out strong in Q4. And that family schema, it's including that sense of belonging, that loyalty. They're trying to trigger that subconscious sense of loyalty in you, that forgiveness element that you might reserve for your actual blood family, right? Or your chosen family. When I refer to your first family, I'm going to say that whoever are your people outside of your work, right? Whoever your community is, whoever your chosen family is. Unconditional support, okay? That's tricking your brain into thinking that is what you're going to get in your work family. It is not. Don't let it fool you. Shared identity, right? Well, we're in it together. How many times have we all heard it? We're in this together. Keep pushing, keep pushing. We're a team, we're a family. And that sacrifice for the group, right? And that's called a schema. And when the corporate world uses the word family, it's categorizing you into a schema. So that's encoded long before workplace norms were even learned. This is ancient. And evoking it bypasses that rational evaluation. And what does it do to us? It triggers emotion-first responses. So in other words, your brain is treating the word family as a safety cue, even when the logic contradicts it. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Your brain is treating family as a safety cue, even when logic contradicts it. So this is where it gets a little tricky, right? Your brain is telling you, wait a minute, I'm safe here, right? These are my people. This is my family. We're not going anywhere. We're here till the end, till the mission is complete. And I get to get excited that I'm going to a party and let off some steam with the people that I can trust because they're not going anywhere, right? That's what your brain is primed to tell you that word is defined as, right? Family. But that's where I'm going to invite you to take a pause because we know that word is not that definition in the workplace. So what is this doing, right? What is this word being used in the workplace actually doing? Get ready. It's creating obedience. It's reframing the word family in your brain and labeling it for obedience. So when I say it's an attachment theory activation, your brain is now primed to obey for increased loyalty. You're fearing that you're going to disappoint the authorities. Now you're fearing that you're avoiding conflict or boundaries. And so, that little stress activation of getting extra perfect, that thought of perfectionism is going to actually creep in when, wait a minute, isn't my family supposed to accept me, my warts and all? I'm going to mess up. I'm going to make big mistakes. Maybe I'll say things or send the wrong email. Well, yeah, but the family's going to forgive me, right? Ooh, wait a minute. That's that really, really clever differentiator here, right? So again, attachment theory activation. They're doing this on purpose, guys. Social identity theory. People crave to belong to the group. So when you're talking about the holiday party and you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, I'm a little stressed. Well, okay, why? I don't know. I got to look good. What am I going to wear? Well, who cares? Bob from accounting sees you every day. What does he care what you have on? He's a father and a husband. You're a wife and a mother. Why do you care what Bob from accounting is how what does he matter? Well, guess why? Because you're primed now for that little bit of, well, family. I want to be feeling reciprocal, right? Well, I want to look good because then maybe he'll compliment me, maybe I can compliment him because we're a family, we lift each other up, right? The blurred boundaries, the guilt if you say no, if you don't even go. I mean, this is really a tricky topic, guys. So when you're thinking about going and enjoying yourself, yes, of course, let your hair down and have a good time. You've earned it. You've earned those end of the year fun little, so to speak, mental outings, right? That the people that you're working so hard together, of course you're allowed to let your hair down. But you also have to understand what your company is doing and that it's not done by accident. It's strategic. So, when they're actually saying, hey, you guys were a family, let's get together, they're really reducing turnover because employees know that if they're betraying a family, they're less likely to leave, right? Even if you're in active burnout, you probably won't leave. If that company's burning you to a crisp, you're stressed to the hilt. Maybe you're at a crossroads in life and you think, well, it's time for me to leave and move on, but you're going to keep staying because even using the word family is subconsciously programming you to stay because you don't want to be disloyal to the family, right? It reduces pushback because people challenging managers, that doesn't go over too well, right? Because in a family, you don't really challenge your elder ancestral lineage, right? You don't challenge your grandma without incredible emotional discomfort. You respect her. Using the word family in the workplace is no accident, guys. So you're creating a culture of emotional obligation. And, it's a hidden psychological tension, but it's something that you absolutely need to be aware of. And that's why we're making a series, this holiday burnout perfectionism series of, what are we going to do to survive the holidays in a neuroscience-backed way and what's actually going on inside and outside of your brains, your bodies, your communities. And, we're going to have shorter, sort of punchier podcasts for the time being this month because we know everybody is really busy. We're doing it mindfully. I'd like you to tune in and listen to this when you're stuck in traffic because that's going to happen, or when you're picking the kids up from school and the line is down the block and you've got another 15 or 20 minutes to spare. Turn this on and listen because you're going to find out how to hack your brain for maximum holiday enjoyment without completely crashing out. So I'm going to leave you guys with this on our very first holiday episode. And as we peel back this raw onion of our juicy little brains, we're going to actually talk about this, which I think is one of the coolest hacks. And I've been doing it myself. This is going to, hopefully, my goal is, and Yoshie and I have talked about this, and I think this is the really strong way to end our first podcast here. We're going to go over the 72-hour boundary check, all right? This is a fantastic takeaway for everybody listening. As I said, I'm doing this myself. It works. And the purpose of this 72-hour boundary check, all we're doing, guys, we're reducing the overwhelm in our brains and we're preventing burnout by focusing only on what truly matters in this immediate short-term time, okay? So you're gonna call yourself out essentially. And how this works, well, what we're gonna do is scan for the next 72 hours, right? You're only gonna observe. Take a notepad out at the end of each day. You're gonna write down all the work, family, and social commitments that you foresee happening for the next 72 hours. All of it. Write it all down. You're going to include your deadlines, your meetings, these corporate parties, even social parties, everything. Everything you have on for the next 72 hours, write it down. And emotional obligations, okay? Emotional obligations too. You're going to write it all down. Number 2, identify what is real versus what's symbolic in your obligations that you're writing down. So with the deadlines, the meetings, the parties, errands, emotional obligations, what are the things that you actually really physically have to show up for? You know, your kid has a musical or a choir, a holiday event. Yeah, you're going to go, right? Of course. That's a real obligation. Now, symbolic obligation, that's for you to decide. Do you have to go for your annual blah blah blah? Is it actually going to matter, or is it going to take you over the edge? Write it all down. Identify real versus symbolic. You're going to ask yourself, which ones actually require my attention? So let's say, which are expectations that I feel obligated to meet but aren't essential? Maybe your holiday office gift exchange is nice. All right, you can include a gift, but is your presence mandatory? Maybe not. Maybe that's a chunk of time that you need for yourself, right? So you're going to reset your boundaries for this holiday season and simplify. Remove, delegate, or postpone tasks wherever possible. And you're going to communicate small, clear boundaries with others. Let's say, here, going back to our foundation of today, the holiday party. Well, okay, I'll attend the first hour of the party and then I need to leave to rest. You don't need to tell anyone why, but you know, hey, I need a break, man. Okay? Write this all down. And why are we doing this? Well, neuroscience nerd alert here. We're doing it to reduce the cognitive load, okay? Our prefrontal cortex, and that's that part in the brain right here behind your forehead, the really right front and center, your prefrontal cortex, that is the part of your brain used for decision making. And it can only hold 4 to 7 items in working memory at once. So during the holidays, obligations from work, family, it's all overloading the system. So we are at decision fatigue and we're going to forget, we're going to stress, we're going to burn out. Our anxiety to be perfect is going to skyrocket because we're not really regulated, right? This is the time of year where we're most dysregulated. So now that we know that our brain, that part of the brain that can only hold 4 to 7 working items of memory at once, we're giving that part, we're running on empty. That's at least 50, 60 things that it's trying to figure out at once. No, stop it right now. Because by writing it down, we're actually now saying, wait, brain, I can handle what's on the list. And the rest of it's optional. I don't need to do everything else. And that's going to lower your stress hormones. A calmer nervous system is going to come up. And you're going to have less anxiety because you have less to think about. It interrupts the guilt loop. That's something we can absolutely talk about, right? Guilt loop, obligation, and holidays. What a trifecta. How many of you have felt guilt over the holidays for not doing enough, right? Many obligations trigger the self-referential thought loops. I should do this. I should do that. Should is the worst word we could ever have in the vocabulary here. But writing things down and evaluating their necessity creates a little bit of distance here. So we can say, wait a minute, I'm reducing guilt and I'm reducing this should hijacking by looking at my list and saying, wait a minute, oh, the brain can now stop automatically linking obligation to moral failure. That's the key to perfectionism. What I feel like I'm obligated to do, and if I don't, I'm a failure. Ooh, is that true? No, of course not. But that's what activates when we're getting highly perfectionist. We don't need it. The brain is designed to hijack you for safety. Take the control back and realize that obligation and moral failing, guys, it's not a failure. All right? You're failing yourself. You're not failing anybody else. So this is what that boundary recognition and that 72-hour boundary check is made for, okay? We can talk about this more in greater detail, but I'm seeing that we're at 20 minutes now, and the whole reason we're doing these shorter episodes this series is because we realize that you're busy, because we know that you're overwhelmed, and this is the invitation to really understand that it's by design. Guys, they're doing this. They're using these words on purpose. Go out and enjoy your holiday season, but also realize where you're getting played and you don't have to. And do your 72-hour boundary check and go to those holiday parties and enjoy it, but leave when you want. And go through all of this. And if you have any questions about the 72-hour boundary breakdown, feel free to reach out to Yoshie or I. We're honored to be here with you all, and thank you so much for listening. And we are the Raw Onion Podcast coming at you, and we're so honored to be here. And here's to a great holiday season. We'll see you next week, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.